Leadership Live group. Welcome to another episode, and you're going to love what's happening today. And I know every one of you has had a moment where the floor gave out, a deal collapsed, the market shifted, a season ended that you weren't ready for it to end. And the question isn't if it happens, it's what you do in the 1 minute that follows. I love Dr. Willie's 1 minute. My guest today has spent his entire career teaching people exactly what to do with that minute. He's a Hall of Fame speaker, a Cavett Award winner, the host of the #1 self-help show on SiriusXM, and the author of the book that America needs right now, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. Dr. Willie Jolley, welcome to Leadership Live. Good to
Well,
have you, my
thank
friend.
you, thank you for having me. And to those who know I start the same way. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I did not seek it. I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, Donnie, and to share some ideas with your viewers, your listeners, and your community, and all those who might get airing of this later to help them to win more in their personal, their professional, and their lives every which way we can.
Dr. Willie, I love that. I love the minute. I love the space of what happens in the minute. I'm wondering if a little bit of the origin could have come from, gosh, there was the old poem of the old days where it says, "Then you will be a man, my son."
Yeah. It's in one of my books, by the way. In my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. It's in the last page of that book. But fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds
Yes.
worth of running. So I have that in the back. But that actually is called God's Minute. That poem that I shared with you. It's from Dr. Benjamin Mays. He wrote it. He was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor, and he was the one who inspired the young MLK when he came to Morehouse College at the age of 15. He inspired him to dream outrageous, incredible, impossible dreams. In my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, and in my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, there's a quote from Dr. Mays that I love a lot. It says, "It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life does not lie in not reaching your goals. No, the tragedy lies in not having a goal to reach for. It is not a calamity to die with your dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideals, but it is a disaster to have no ideals to capture. It is not a disgrace not to reach the skies and the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Not failure, but low aim. That's sin." And that was a piece that Dr. Mays gave to a young 15-year-old ML and said, read this every day and it'll change your life. And as we know, we saw the impact of that poem or piece uh, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with a famous speech, "I have a dream." So
Mm,
I'm honored to be here,
I
and
love
I'm
it.
grateful for all of the things you're doing. I got to give a shout out to my friend Brian Byro, who is one of the great
Oh,
speakers
yeah.
in America. And uh, Brian sent me an email and said, "There's a gentleman named Donnie Tuttle who I think so highly of, and I'd like you to consider being on his show because the two of you need to meet." And I'm so honored that I would be able to be part of this exciting program. So thank you for having me, Donnie.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And for those who are watching or listening, I'm sure you can see why Dr. Willie is a coveted speaker. You've been doing this thing for a while and you've had
Yeah.
moments where the minute mattered. Can you
Yeah, I can
give
give you yeah,
give me
that
some of
minute
those
matters.
minutes? Like you've had
Well,
shifts.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for over 30 years, almost going on 40 years now. And I didn't start this way. I was a nightclub singer, singing in nightclubs, singing songs I hated, but I kept singing them because they kept paying me. One song I hated it. Feelings, I hated that song. But
Really?
club
Okay.
owner would say, "Sing feelings," and I'd sing it loud and strong because I was trying to get discovered, not knowing most of the people too drunk to discover their way out the front door. But anyway, one night I came in and the club manager said, "Want to talk to you after the night show." So I told the guys in the band, "We've won all the awards: best jazz ensemble, best entertainers, best performers. We have standing room only audiences. We're finally going to get our raise." And so I walked in his office that night and he said, "You were great tonight." I said, "Thank you. The people loved you." I said, "Thank you." He said, "That's why it's hard for me to tell you what I have to tell you. The owners of the club have decided they got to get a better return on investment. And the only way to do that with a full nightclub is to lower the cost. And the band's the biggest cost. And there's something new going around the country that's filling up nightclubs. And we're going to give that a shot for a while. We bought a karaoke machine." I said, "A what kind of machine?" "A karaoke." It was brand new. No one had ever heard of it, but it was this time during the time of the karaoke craze. And I was devastated because I had worked so hard to build my brand, to build this audience, to build this club, to become popular. Yet and this is the top of the food chain, by the way, in nightclubs in Washington, D.C. Everybody else was paying meager sums of money. They were paying me a reasonable amount of money. And I did not want to go back to those peanuts. And I was devastated. And and you know what? A lot of people in America are going through what I went through. They've lost their jobs, not because of poor performance, not because they weren't good, but because there are new technologies. There's AI. There's all sorts of new technologies that are taking people's jobs.
Mhm.
And so they understand that kick in the gut feeling. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, everybody who's listening, everybody who's been through a setback, I'm telling you that a setback is a setup for
Let's
a
go.
comeback. And it's
Let's
comeback
go.
time. So let me tell you the rest of the story. Yeah, I get fired, replaced by a karaoke machine. Don't know what I'm going to do. I took a job with the DC public school system as a drug prevention coordinator, talking to little kids about staying away from drugs. From the little kids, the teachers would say, "Oh, you're good. Can you come speak for our teachers group?" And someone in the teachers group say, "Oh, can you come to my church?" And someone in the church would say, "Oh, can you come to my company?" And then I was speaking in all these places, and then Les Brown, the great motivational speaker, heard about this young speaker who was speaking and singing in his presentations. And he reached out to me and invited me to be the opening act for a new tour he was kicking off called the Music and Motivation Dream Team Tour. And he needed an opening act who could speak and sing. And the tour consisted of Les Brown, Billy Preston, the great organist, Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, and a little guy from Washington, D.C., me. Because of
Wow.
Les and Gladys, they introduced me to radio people. And I got a little radio show, and it got popular, got syndicated. And then it moved to XM. And now I have a daily syndicated program in 49 markets, Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley. And I have the number one self-help show in America on SiriusXM, my 20th season, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show on channel 141, airs Saturdays at 4 and re-airs Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 on channel 141. And then it goes to podcasts on all the podcast platforms. And because of that, one day a book publisher heard me on the radio and called my office and said, "I've been listening to you on the radio. I love your ideas. Have you ever thought about writing a book?" I said, "No, I never thought about it." He said, "Let me make you an offer." I said, "I just thought about it." So I wrote a book called It
I
Only Takes
just
a Minute.
thought about it.
Thought about it. You make me an
Just no
offer
idea.
with
Yeah.
money?
Yeah.
I just thought about it. And I wrote a book called It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. Became a national bestseller. Then I wrote a book called A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. Became a global bestseller. And now many people use it as part of their, daily conversations. Well, I wrote the book. And then a book called Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks. What do you do when you need money? And then An Attitude of Excellence. And then a book I wrote with my wife called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, a
Let's go.
relationship and marriage book. And now this new book that is blowing up, going crazy, called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And then in 1999, I was named one of the top 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters. In 2005, I was inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. In 2013, I was named one of the top 5 leadership speakers in America. And then in 2023, I was awarded the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award. Only 50 people have been given that award, and I'm honored to be one. And it's like the Heisman, the Oscar.
Is there a
And
post? Do you
yeah, it's actually got a pose. I
that's
wish I could show it to you. It's a guy who's it's a big statue like the Heisman with a guy in a position, Cavett Robert, who started the National Speakers Association. And so Donnie, all that happened. All that happened because I had a setback. But I decided that setback is not the end of my story. See, everybody, you said it earlier, it's not if you're going to have a setback, it's when you have a setback.
yeah.
And when you have a setback, you have to ask yourself a critical question or make a critical decision, really. You have to decide, are you going to see this as a setback, period?
Hmm.
Or a setback, comma. When you were in elementary school, they told you that there are two punctuation marks you needed to know about to be able to effectively read and write a period or a comma. Period meant end of the sentence, end of the
Mhm.
story. No more to be said. You know, people say period, full stop, no more to be said. Or is it a setback, comma, pause, transition, keep reading, keep going. There's more to the story. Well, when I decided there was more to my story and I didn't give up, then there was a fabulous rest of the story. And so now I go all over the world speaking for major corporations and conventions and churches and I do the radio and I do television and I write books and I get to live my dream. So I'm saying to all of you who've had a setback or you've been experiencing something what I call this devastating D of life. You might have had a downsizing. You might have had a divorce. You might have had a diagnosis. You might have had a disease. You might have had a disaster. You might have had a death of a loved one. I don't know which one it is, but I do know that this is not the end of your story
Mm.
unless you choose it to be. So a setback is set up for a comeback. So you're
I
right,
love it.
Donnie.
I love it.
I had that minute I made a decision. Look, the people ask me often, can you really change your life in a minute? Because my first book is called It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life.
Mhm, mhm.
I say, yeah. The minute you make a decision and move in a new direction is the minute you change your life.
Yeah,
Now, you might not reach your destination in a minute, but you certainly can change your direction and your action in a minute. And when you do, change your
for
life. So
sure.
today, I'm encouraging everybody to move, to take action on the new vision, the greater vision, the bigger vision. And in fact, I want to give you a gift. I want everybody to get a gift to help you in that process. I have a book called Only the Best on Success. A number of Hall of Fame speakers came together to help encourage people, to just bless them. And the
Mhm.
book is I think the book is like 30 bucks. Well, I would give everybody who wants one a digital copy, my gift to you. If you would just email me and say, I heard you on Donnie's show and I want the gift, we'll send it to you. And just email us at info, at Willie Jolley, Willie, Jolly, JOLLEY.com. Info at williejolly.com and say, please, the book gift. That's all. Anything with gift with Donnie. Just put Donnie's name in it. Because see, we wrote this book to help people. And that's what I want to do. Help people. I want to help you win. I want to help you
Love
win.
it. I wanna, Doctor Willie, there's a couple of things. First off, I'm in love with the idea that purpose some people, they look at this as though it's something they gotta find, but the reality is that, half of the equation is always in what life is offering and how we're responding to it. And
Right, right.
watching your story develop, like it's like an old Polaroid picture that just slowly develops over time. And you thought you were
Yes,
a singer, but
yes.
you were like, it was like there was like an and then but it like this certain interesting combination of gifts that you brought to the marketplace. Sometimes it sounds like you weren't even doing it on purpose. It's just what you had, and it started
It
combining.
what you know what? It what was already in me, I just didn't know it,
Yeah,
okay? And it took that setback to expose it, and I was willing, here's the big point, I
yeah.
was willing to grow, to be better, to grow to something different. It wasn't what I had planned, but it was
Mhm.
what God had planned, and I had to be one who not stand in the way of it.
Yeah.
So, what was your question?
Well, the place where I was gonna go with that, first off, I just wanted the commentary of, like, I love that, and I love that we spent a lot of time on the karaoke machine and a little bit of time going through the highlights of what happened afterwards, but it's like,
Right.
I think that it is important for leaders to look at sometimes they might be getting crushed or if you're not one of those killer Ds as around the corner,
Mhm.
finding a way to continue to go forward, you're not to the end of the story,
Part
but
of
one
it
of the
is your attitude, Donnie, attitude and mindset. So let me make that clear. It's about attitude and mindset. And that is what shifted. When see, one thing I didn't tell in the story was somebody gave me a book when I
Okay.
was broke, busted, and disgusted. And they gave me an audio, a motivational tape. I had never read a book from cover to cover. See, I was the half of the class in my high school that made the top half possible. All right. I wasn't a great student. I never read a book
Okay,
from cover to cover.
okay.
And so I read this book, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow
Oh.
Rich. They gave me a book. And then they gave me a motivational tape. And on that tape was a guy who said, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for two things: the people you meet who inspire you, and the books you read that empower you.
Mm,
And that book and those people I met, some of them by audio tape, videotape, some going to seminars, changed my life. So your inputs determine your outputs. So keep going. Which is
yeah.
why I'm so excited, Donnie, about this new book. Book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, because it's all about mindset.
Let's
Uh,
get
uh,
there. You sent me this bag full of money, and,
Man, money,
like,
baby.
I'm rich now, but you say rich is
Well,
not
let's
wealthy. Give me the
you're
difference.
right.
What is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
what's
Well, let me say before I tell you the difference per se, I've been interviewing for 20 years some of the wealthiest, greatest wealth creators in history. People like Bill Marriott, David Rubenstein, David Stewart, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, Ted Leonsis, Mark Randolph, co-founder of Netflix. I've been interviewing John Maxwell, Damon John, John Hope Bryant, billionaire after billionaire, multimillionaire after millionaire. And one day the light bulb went off. That proverbial light bulb above my head. I had a light bulb moment. And I finally realized, oh my gosh, I got the Wealthy Ways show, and I didn't know the difference between being rich and wealthy. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. And I thought maybe I was the only one who didn't get the memo. So I went around the country speaking. I'd ask people, what's rich to you? And the number one answer was always $1 million. You
okay.
got $1 million? They say, $1 million, you're rich. Well, then if rich is $1 million, then what's wealthy? And they, oh, they stop and think and say, well, in my opinion, oh my God, when somebody says in my opinion, you know that's not a definitive answer. That's
Right,
their opinion. You need a definitive answer. You don't have an opinion about gravity. You know, oh, in my opinion, you can walk off a bridge and you'll keep walking. No, gravity is definitive. So I know I realized most people didn't know what the difference was. And so I went back to those billionaires, friends of mine, and asked them, here's my theory. Am I right? They say, you're absolutely right. And you need to write a book because most people don't know. See, if I gave everybody a rock and say, hit a wall next to you, could you hit it? Sure. Now, let's say I gave you that same rock and say, hit the wall again. Before you hit it, though, let me put a blindfold over your face and turn you around and around till you don't know which direction you're pointing in. Now, is it still as easy to hit that same wall? No. You can't hit what you can't see. Then how are you going to
okay.
hit what you don't know? And so I interviewed all of these people, did the research, and I realized there was a distinct and profound difference between being rich and wealthy. Now, before I answer the question, I'm gonna give you one more story. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, about 2 months ago, and I'm in a fancy restaurant. My client took me to a fancy restaurant, and one of the star players from the Cleveland Browns football team is walking by our table. And my client knew him and said, "Hey, hey, hey, come over. I want you to meet somebody." He comes over with his entourage and the fur coats and the bling and all of
Okay.
the jewelry around the neck. And he said, "This is Dr. Willie Jolley. He teaches people how to be wealthy." And the young man said, "Well, I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can get more wealth. Give me your card." I gave him a card. He and the entourage left. And I said to my client, "I don't know that young man's finances, but I can bet you dimes to dollars. He thinks he's wealthy,
Yeah.
but he's really rich, and rich is good. Rich is good,
Okay.
but the owner's wealthy." See, that young man comes to the stadium on Sundays, puts his pads on, goes out, he catches the ball, he runs the ball, he gets tackled, he leaves, he's tired, he's worn out, and he goes home, takes an ice bath to try and take away some of the pain. And hopefully, when he gets home, he has at least a net worth left of $1 million. That owner came to the stadium. He never ran up and down the field. He didn't get tackled. He didn't get beat up. When he left, he had a net worth of over $1 billion. And when that young man is no longer productive, that owner is going to replace him with another young man just like him. Rich is good, but wealthy is better. So here's the answer. Everybody write this one down because this is the premise of the book. The book tells you the difference between being rich and wealthy. Rich is money you earn from what you do. And the better you are at it, the more money you can earn. Wealthy is money you generate from what you own. Let me say it again.
Mm,
Rich is money
okay.
you earn from what you do, typically during the day. And wealthy is money you generate from what you own while you sleep. And anybody who's making money can get wealthy. Because many people say, "Well, I don't,
All right.
I can't."
You
No, 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 no.
you X'd us you X'd a lot of us off the list right there when you did that, Dr.
Woo!
Willie, and
No,
so
no,
that
no.
was so
Anybody
now
who makes money
how
can
do we
get
get there?
wealthy.
All right,
Okay?
how do we get there? So let's just say
Okay, here's how you do it.
we're doing
Three,
well. How do I
three.
go from doing well to rich to
Yeah.
wealthy? Yeah.
All right, here you go. Three pegs, legs to the stool of wealth. Three. Now, let me say one more thing, folks. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a really good listener.
Mm,
And I have listened for 20 years to wealth creators, and here's what they told me. Number one, you got to have income. And the more income, the better. You need to have multiple streams of income. In the book, I have a chapter on the 8 streams of income that you can all get involved in. Eight, 8 streams of income. So you need the book for that chapter. But first is income. Number two, you must live below your means and you must invest the difference. And in this day and time, you can invest. I have a chapter on investment, the things you can invest in. And again, anybody who's making money can do some kind of investment. And particularly in the day of fractional ownership, you can own a small piece of Amazon or a small piece of Walmart or a small piece of Nike or a small piece of whatever it is you use. If you go to Amazon or you go to Walmart or you whatever, you should own a little bit. And then so you got income, you got investment, and then everybody can have some insurance to protect the asset. Income, investment,
okay.
and insurance. And you can learn how to invest. I have a guy who has started a new program to teach people how to invest. I had him on my XM show. It's a phenomenal program. It's called newwaytomakemoney.com. Newwaytomakemoney.com. Every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, he does he goes online and tells people how they can do it and how they can learn. Newwaytomakemoney.com. Now, let me say this. Donnie, you said, "Oh man, you wiped us off the list." Let me say, no, no, not true. See, in the book, I tell stories about people who did not make a lot of money, but who came wealthy, like
Okay.
Mary Ellen Pleasant, a domestic worker. She cleaned people's homes in the early 1900s. She never made more than $6,000 in a single year. Never. But she lived below her means. She invested the difference And when she died, she had a net worth of $2.7 million.
Wow.
Boom, bam. Folks, if you got discipline, you can create wealth. Oh, by the way, Donnie, there are 5 types of wealth. You
Okay.
gotta know these 5 types of wealth. Of course, there's financial wealth, but the most important wealth is health wealth. Health wealth. It is reported that Steve Jobs said on his deathbed, "I'd give all the billions away
Mhm.
for more time."
Mm.
The 3rd wealth is reputational wealth. I mean,
Mm.
relationship wealth.
'Kay.
Not just where you're going, but who's going with you. And who's gonna be with you at the end? Because everybody has an end. Everybody has an end. And I've been telling people that you should strive. Listen to me, this is very important. You should strive to only die once. Because we all gonna die one day. Okay. Everybody gonna nobody get out of life alive. But I'm encouraging you to strive to only die once. Never let the second death happen because of your impact. The second death is when people stop speaking your name. Someone asked me in an interview, Dr. Jolly, what's your greatest goal? My greatest goal that 100 years from now, some child will walk in a room and see a picture of me and my wife and run up and kiss it and say, thank you, great, 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 great granddaddy. Thank you, great, 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 great grandmama for what you did 100
Mm.
years ago to make it possible for us to have a house, a business, for us to go to college. We'll never forget you, granddaddy, great, great granddaddy. I never want to have a second death. So
Mm.
only strive to only die once. Number 4 is
Interesting.
reputational wealth. What do people say about you in the marketplace? Because what they say about you will open doors for you. Your reputation will open doors for you in the future.
Mm.
And 5th is your intellectual capital wealth. What do you know? And what can you do with what you know? In other words, use what you know to make more dough. Come on, somebody. So rich is good, wealthy is better.com. Rich is good, wealthy is better.com. I want everybody to go get copies. Oh, last, this book has 2 focus areas, Donnie. Number 1, all the people who want to be wealthy but don't know how to get there, this book will help you get there. But number 2 is more important in a sense, because more people are buying the book in volume because of the second reason. People are buying a book. One lady bought a box. A lady you might have seen on my Instagram, 98 years old, just bought a whole box of them. She bought a whole box of them, and she started giving them away to 12 of her friends on her neighborhood
Yeah.
immediately. Here's what she
Yep.
said. People who have worked hard all their lives, but are concerned that their children will squander their hard-earned work. And they say, I want to make sure I teach them how to not squander it. Rich is good, wealthy is better.com.
I love it. One of those, I would encourage you leaders to I work with a lot of leaders, and they're trying to help their leaders improve. In what better way for you to invest in their life than to help them to obtain their goals, obtain their wealth, and
Yes.
I would encourage you to get this for your team. There's so much in here. Dr. Willie, I work with a lot of leaders who behind closed doors would say, you know what, I've done well. Maybe
Uh-huh.
rich, maybe
Uh-huh.
maybe I crossed maybe I'm a 1,000,000 or over, maybe it's like whatever, hundreds. It's like, and by the way, they're in the 0.0001% of earners to ever
Right.
exist on the face of the planet today
Right.
and in times past.
Right.
And yet they've been living at their means.
Mhm.
If the machine shuts down, they shut down eventually. They
Mhm.
see market changes happening, and they've put themselves into something they feel like they can't stop, and but there's like the crossroads are kind of coming, they can see
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
karaoke machine around the
Right.
corner. How can you help people like that to adjust into create a new reality that, that involves, like, what it is that you do where they're winning? How can we readjust to that?
So, first of all, as I said, I was blessed to be named one of the top 5 leadership speakers. And in my book, An Attitude of Excellence, I talk about the fact that leadership is not just a title, it's an action.
Okay.
And you decide to become a leader. See, many people think leaders are born leaders. No, they are developed. Just like a diamond is not born a diamond, is born a piece of coal that goes through a process and it is squeezed and there's pressure. You'll have some pressure, but don't let the pressure stop you. Go through, go. Someone said, I think it was one of the great Greek leaders said, the obstacle is the way.
Mhm.
The obstacle is the way. Where's the obstacle? Go that way and grow through it, not just go through it, grow through it. So you're going to have moments where you have to make critical decisions as a leader about your future and your organization's future. And you might have to make some shifts and some pivots that people don't understand. One of who wrote the foreword for my Attitude of Excellence book is Alan Mulally, who was the guy that turned Ford around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he made critical decisions and he helped to unveil the facade that people were living under. He said, let's strip off that and let's tell the truth.
Mm.
We are struggling.
Mm.
And some of you need help with ideas. Stop trying to look like you got it all together. Ask for help. It does not make you weak to ask for help. It helps to keep you strong. So leaders have to be willing to develop themselves constantly, to continue to grow themselves, and when the problems come, to face the storms and realize this is the obstacle and this is the way, and we're moving forward.
Wow. Well said. I love that. You mentioned something earlier that, and I feel like this time has flown. We're gonna have to have you on for another one here around the corner if you're open to it. But there was something you said earlier when you were talking about the gentleman you were quoting, the mentor to the young MLK,
Yeah.
and it was I have like pages here. There, low aim is the crime. There's something that's been resonating in my I reuse the speech of JFK about "We'll put a man on the moon," like, because not
Right.
because it's easy, that whole thing. But one of the things that he said in there that I've never heard before, just caught me, was he says that this mission will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Can you talk to us a moment about whether it's having the vision, having the dream, having the aim, or maybe it's creating it anew? I think there are some leaders out there that need a little Dr. Willie Jolley, chiropractic adjustment in creating aim and organizing and measuring the best of their energies and skills.
Yeah.
What you got there?
So I'm going to dovetail on that piece about JFK. There's more to that story. When JFK started thinking about, wow, wouldn't it be good to put a man on the moon? But that's an impossibility. Okay. And so he reached out to Warner von Braun,
Mhm.
who was the number one n- uh, expert in aerodynamics and space flight. And he said to Warner von Braun, what would it take to put a man on the moon? And Warner von Braun said,
Yep,
the will to
the
get
will.
it done.
Yep.
The will. And so I'm saying to all you leaders, it's the will. You decide. Yeah, you got a vision, but you got to decide.
Mm,
Decision is taken from the Greek word to cut. If you make an incision, you cut in. You make a decision, you cut off. Cut off
mhm. Yeah.
the questions. Cut off the negative thoughts. Cut off the fears. Now, we're all going to have some fears, but cut them off. Cut off the negative people who tell you it can't be done. Cut them
Mm.
off and start working with people who say, you know what? It's going to be a stretch. It's a moonshot, but we can do this. And I'm saying to all of you, I'm part of your community now.
Mm.
I'm saying to all of you, you can do this. Oh, yeah, it sounds outrageous. It sounds outrageous, but you can do this.
Let's go.
Mm. You can do this.
Let's go.
You can do this.
Well,
Yeah,
we
you can
know
do
where we can find you, Dr. Willie. We know where we can find you, but tell us just in case we didn't read your wonderfully branded.
winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com is my site. You can reach all my sites. I got a bunch of stuff. I got business sites, I got speaking sites, I got music sites, I got product sites, I got faith-based sites, I got youth motivation. I got all of these sites. You can get them all at winwithwillie.com. You can reach me there. You can learn how to contact me. You can have me come speak for your event, wherever you want to have it. And I got a way to get there. It's called an airplane. I can get there, and I'll come, and we'll have a great time. I want to thank Donnie Tuttle. I want to encourage everybody to follow him, to like him, tell your friends about what he's doing, because the more people who know him, the more sponsors are going to say, "I want to be with that guy." So I want
Wow.
everybody to follow him, to share it, to comment on his podcast and his program. And I want you all to remember your best is yet to come, which is what I say at the end of every show, that your best is yet to come. And you got to believe it and then act on it.
I love it. I love it. You guys can see from this energy, you need this man in your building. You need this man in your life. You need him in your company. And Dr. Willie, one of the things that I've just got to tell you that you have, it's evident here, probably just like it was evident that singing and speaking, like there's this combo thing. You have this unique ability to take knowledge that's real and combine it with feeling. That is, there's just not a lot out there. There's only one Dr. Willie Jolley. You're my favorite Dr. Willie Jolley that I've ever
Amen.
met.
Amen.
And, I've gotta say this, guys, if you've spent this time with us, this last 37 minutes, Dr. Willie's been putting in overtime with us, then you are definitely at least this much better, and our goal is to help you to become better leaders, because if you can lead better, you can live better. Dr. Willie, thank you for bringing the thunder.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you
It's
for
an
helping
honor.
us win. Thank you.
My honor, my honor, my honor. And blessings to everybody.
Bye, guys. And next week, Dr. Christy McMullen will be with us, author of Make Work Fun. She is going to be awesome. She's going to create what it is that you want in your world, because if you make it fun, you'll get it done. And we're thanking you for helping us to win on Wednesday and allowing us to be a part of your leadership mental sphere. Thank you very much, Leadership Live people. We will see you in the leader sphere. Take care, guys.